there is not going to be a prosperous future for humanity in a degraded environment. We should feel a strong sense of urgency because we have to really deal with these issues in the next few decades.
We talk an awful lot about investing in human capital and preserving capital and growing capital. And I think the idea of natural capital is just to say, hold on, there's a whole another set of assets that we need to be thinking about and quantifying and measuring and comparing alongside these other investments that we make.
I think the entire concept of natural capital, has been there for many years. But the connection or the integration with the financial institutions lending in terms of portfolios and assets is not really established very well.
I think when we start considering nature as capital, that can really help us with more sustainable management of natural resources. And this can be done by governments, by investors, and by companies alike. So what does this really mean for the financial institutions? One might say they're not really affected by the depletion of natural resources in their internal operations. Their investees are. And in simple terms, if you lend $1 million, you would expect $1 million back plus the interest. But the real question to ask is how this interest should be adjusted based on the patterns of natural resource depletion exposure to risk in your investee companies.
So to my mind, every loan or investment has a correlation to natural capital. For example, if there is a company operating in a water scarce region and therefore the entire sustainability of the company is linked to the supply of water. Now, if there is a financial institution that is really invested in that company, then there's a credit risk that poses to the lending that has done.
As the financial sector increasingly understands the business case for natural capital and hardwires it in their financial products, it could affect the cost of capital.
We at UniCredit believe that natural capital is important for our business because natural resources and ecosystemic services are the fundament of economic activity. That's why we believe that natural capital is material to our business.
E fundo de pensão, como investidor de longo prazo, que busca proteger os recursos dos seus associados com o objetivo de pagar as suas aposentadorias, tem que ter essa preocupação. É inerente ao papel fiduciário que o fundo de pensão tem.
For financial institutions, the emerging regulations around natural capital is indeed becoming a critical driver. And we already see this happening in a number of countries that are enacting regulations around this concept. For example, capital requirements based on environmental risk.
If green economies have really to be a reality, then this is an extraordinary opportunity for countries, financial institutions to look at natural resource wealth and assets.
I think what is still missing is better mechanisms for collaboration between banks and governments around this particular topic.
The Natural Capital Declaration is a commitment by the finance industry to increasingly take account of natural capital considerations in their future investment and lending decisions. What the declaration is trying to do is develop a methodology which will allow them to take account of those impacts on natural capital.
Well, at Yes Bank, we decided to sign the UN Natural Capital Declaration because we believed that it is our commitment towards environment conservation, and we also thought that the gap was the entire awareness and understanding within industry as well as public at large.
The lack of practical and quantitative tools for financial institutions to calculate natural capital risks for individual asset classes like bonds, equities, corporate loans, insurance products is currently lacking, and this is where the NCD comes in. The idea is to be able to visualize the exposure for individual financial products and to map the exposure at a portfolio level.
Practical projects are very important because we at UniCredit have been working for quite a few years trying to understand connections between environmental issues and business. And that's why we welcomed Global Canopy Program and United Nations Environmental Program finance initiatives to convene those specific projects to test interdependencies between natural capital and business.
I think sometimes you should stop worrying for a second and actually begin to celebrate a number of positive developments. The growth of awareness, the planet has never been more aware of the problems and the solutions. We've never been able to engage so many people across the world, all over the world, developing economies, emerging economies, around environmental issues.